I found this piece at the Paris flea market. It's quite heavy, about 7 inches long. The metal has a silver-like appearance, but there's no silver marking or any other manufacturer's stamp. Inside one of the claws, there's a hook, and the inside has a rough texture, almost as if the metal was cast. I'm not sure of its exact age, but I'd guess it's over 100 years old. When you hold it and really examine it, you can tell it's authentic. The vendor I bought it from always has amazing items. No modern stuff, no junk, just unique, high-quality pieces. I visit his booth regularly because it's filled with rare finds. I would have asked him more about it, but this time, his wife was running the stall, and her English wasn't as fluent. Interestingly, I found a nearly identical piece at an auction, and they dated it to the 19th century. Any idea what it could be? They are pheasant tongs. It was a plot point in Shogun. The English guy in Japan hung a pheasant for too long and everyone was horrified. In the book, I don't know if this is in the original series or new series, the Englishman hangs a pheasant and prohibits his servants from removing it upon pain of death. Adams forgets about the pheasant, and when it putrefies, the elderly gardener consents to remove it and be executed. Adams learns about all of this after the fact. He learns a hard lesson about Japanese culture and the responsibilities of a samurai to protect their people. I came across a small, worn gold charm, delicately etched with mysterious letters. At first glance, the letters appeared to resemble musical notes. Intrigued, I searched online, wondering if it might be related to a handpan or even the complex patterns of the circle of fifths, but neither seemed to match. Anyone know what this is? It's a replica of a steel drum pendant. That would explain why the letters don't go beyond G. I found this curious object on my late grandfather's desk while sorting through his things. It's a hollow plastic cylinder with a rotating press positioned above it. When you press down on the upper white part, the circular mechanism beneath it starts to spin rapidly, though only for a few seconds before it stops. It's a strange little device, and I can't quite figure out its purpose. I tried searching for similar images online, but nothing quite matches it, leaving me even more intrigued. Any idea what it could be? It's an ashtray. At the time, they were called a smokeless ashtray. The way they work is that you stub the cigarette out on the disc. Then you press the button down which spins the ash and button to the chamber below. The disc then seals the chamber, meaning that you don't get smoke still coming out of the ashtray as you would with a traditional ashtray. I'm a plumber, and I just wrapped up replacing a gas line in the Dallas area. While I was backfilling the ditch, I stumbled upon something unexpected, an object that's clearly old and handmade. I tried searching online to find anything similar, but came up empty-handed. The shape and details are puzzling, and I can't help but wonder about its origins. Given its distinct features, I'm left asking, could it be from the Nazi era? Any ideas or insights on what this might be? It's an Indian diya, or clay lamp used for religious ceremonies. This would make sense for the swastik to be carved in it. These are extremely common, especially during Diwali, which is typically in October-November. Typically use once and discard as they are biodegradable. They almost always have the sunray lines splaying outward behind the swastika. I'm curious about how old this item is and whether the neighborhood has a significant Indian American population. I found this strange object in a customer's washing machine while I was working on a repair. It was lodged in the drum, buried under a tangled mess of dog hair and debris that had been causing all sorts of problems with the machine's performance. The object itself was pretty nasty, covered in slime and grime, and definitely didn't look like anything I'd want to handle for long. I didn't bother checking if the white side screwed off, but I did notice that there was liquid inside the amber-colored portion. Given its condition, I decided to toss it along with the old worn-out parts that had to be replaced. It was a pretty unsettling find, to say the least. Any idea what it could be? It's a vape cartridge. I never touched a vape, so didn't have any idea. After my grandmother passed away a few years ago, we began going through her belongings, sorting through memories and treasures from the past. Among the items we discovered was this medal tucked away with care. She also had a World War I helmet and a few other artifacts passed down from family members who had served in various wars. I assume this medal is related to those military connections, but despite my efforts, I haven't been able to find any similar medals online, especially one with the same inscription. Around the red center of the medal, it reads, Pro Aris et Pro Focius. I wonder about its origins. Was it awarded or was it simply a family heirloom passed down through generations? Any ideas? The inscription translates to "for hearth and home," a motto that has been used by various organizations throughout history. I'm not sure who issued this medal or if it was ever awarded for a specific reason. It could be a vintage World War I or II era Pro Ares et Pro Focius medal, which means for God and country, and was commonly associated with military regiments and the Knights Templar. Germany also issued similar medals during World War II, but theirs were silver with a bluish tint. It makes me wonder if my grandmother had military connections, or perhaps a brooch with a similar meaning was given to her as a keepsake, symbolizing the same values of devotion to God, country, and family. While digging in my garden today, about 2 feet deep here in Queensland, Australia, I stumbled upon something truly strange. At first glance, it just looked like a lump, roughly shaped like a turd, but when I picked it up, I noticed it was completely odorless, with no stems or any discernible features. It had a curious texture, almost fibrous to the touch. I couldn't help but feel intrigued by what I had unearthed. What could it be? Any ideas? This is hardwood from the initial build of the house 80 to 90 years ago, slowly in the process or decomposition, petrifying. While cleaning out an old house in New England, I came across a fascinating item among other vintage collectibles. It's a heavy metal cone showing some sort of measuring markings etched into its surface. The inside has threads. The cone's overall condition makes me think it might have been buried at one time, particularly considering the worn and decayed state of the bottom half. The upper portion, however, remains relatively intact. I didn't take a picture of the threads, but they seem to begin where the metal is still in better condition, not as rusted or corroded. Any idea what it could be? It looks like an artillery-timed fuse. You adjust the time to detonation by rotating the rings. While it likely won't explode, I'm not sure what kind of explosives the fuse might contain. For safety, I'm going to set it down and immediately contact my local authorities. They will reach out to the explosive ordnance disposal team to inspect it and make sure it's not a danger.